And viewers, we are getting you big news about how the Pakistan army has been caught off guard once again. This comes 5 days after the train hijack horror in Bolan. Pakistan army has faced another ambush. The security forces there have been attacked and this happened after a gunfire in the Rakshani Mill area of the Regional Corporate Development N40 highway in the Noshki district in Balochistan. It was a fedayeen attack on the convoy of Pakistani security forces consisting at least 7 buses and 2 cars. BLA claimed responsibility almost immediately. The attack happened when the convoy was moving from Quetta to Taftan. BLA in a statement has claimed that they have eliminated 90 Pakistani military personnel, and they've also gone on to say that it was its Majid Brigade, which is the fedayeen unit or the suicide squad of the Baloch Liberation Army, and it is this unit that targeted the convoy of Pakistani army near, in Noshki in Balochistan. The convoy consisted of 8 buses as per the BLA in its statement, one of which, as you can see in your visuals, was completely destroyed in this explosion. The BLA in its statement also further added that immediately after the suicide attack or, the attack that blew up the bus, their Fateh squad advanced, completely surrounded the other buses, and systematically, they went ahead and eliminated military personnel on board, bringing the total number of army casualties to 90. That's not it. There is a counter coming in from the Pakistani army. We'll tell you about it. But first up, let me go across to Pradeep Datta. Pradeep, a complete failure of the Pak Intel apparatus. This is coming in the back of the, Jaffar Express horror, the hostage and the hijack crisis. Right after that, in Balochistan itself, another major attack on the Pakistani military. Has the Pakistani army become so weak? Has the intel apparatus, has the ISI miserably failed to such an extent that Baloch rebels who have been reinvigorated with the kind of support that they are getting, that they are constantly attacking Pakistani army men who seem to have become sitting ducks in Balochistan?
Yes, Sagrika, you're absolutely like Pakistan army personnel like sitting duck, because during the last 5 days, this is the second ambush. The first ambush was carried out on train, and that was later on hijacked by Baloch Liberation Army. And now this time there's another ambush, this time in the Noshki district of Balochistan. And while this convoy was on its way from Quetta towards Taftan area, that was the time when the Balochi Liberation Army, Fateh squad of Majid Brigade, they targeted this. First there was an IED explosion followed by the firing, in which Baloch Liberation Army immediately came out with a statement saying that 90 army personnel killed. For 3 hours there was no statement from the Pakistan army side. As usual, we have seen that there was a complete radio silence. They neither admitted nor they claimed anything. But now finally they have come out with a statement. But yes, you're absolutely right. Things seems to be getting out of control for Pakistan army. It is not only here that they have faced an attack. They have faced a similar kind of attack in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area. The same is the situation for the Pakistan army is in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. It clearly indicates the Pakistan army that had been enjoying their control of Pakistan for the last several decades. Now things seem to be getting out of control for them. No more they are in a dominating position right from Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir towards Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or to Balochistan area or northwestern frontier province. Everywhere they are facing lot many trouble from different insurgent groups. And this is called, as you sow, so shall you reap. So you reap. That is what exactly is happening in this particular case. This old age fits on Pakistan army, because they gave rise to Frankster monster, and now Frankster monster is coming back and hitting out at them. If you're going to play a role in aiding and abetting terror, so terror is going to hit your back. So if you think that these all snakes are going to bite the neighbor, you are completely mistaken. Now snakes are hitting you back. And here in this case, Baloch Liberation Army, they are the largest insurgent group that for the last several decades is fighting against Pakistan army. Reason being, they want independence from Pakistan.
Yes.
There are Pakistan armies on their radar.
And Pradeep, if you remember, Pakistan and its establishment and its army back to doing what they do best. Whenever they are at their weakest, whenever they know they cannot defend themselves, whenever they know they are at fault, they get to blame this blame game. First they blame Taliban, then they tried blaming, India, after which they got a blistering response from the MEA. I want you to stay with us as you break down more details of the latest attack on the Pakistani army in Balochistan. Major General Dhruv Katoch of the India Foundation is joining us. Good afternoon, Major General Katoch, and Major General Sanjay Soy, defense expert, also with us. Major General Katoch, I want to start with you. many are asking, how can there be such a mammoth intel failure? The ISI, which, brags and boasts about all sorts of things, seems to be, ensuring that the Pakistani army in Balochistan becomes nothing less than sitting ducks, a second attack of this magnitude in just 5 days.
Thank you, Sagrika. Yes, I think what has really happened in Pakistan is a series of intelligence failures, both in the incident of the train attack, the Jaffar Express, and of course now where this convoy of 8 or so buses have been attacked. Now, in my view, I think what has really happened is that they have lost the people's support completely. There are two things to this. One is, of course, the Pakistani army didn't get the intelligence. But the second point is the Baloch liberation forces, the Baloch brigade and the BLA, they are getting the intelligence. Now, ultimately, intelligence goes to the side where the public support is far greater. And for a long time, there used to be a very large number of Baloch people who were sitting on the fence, who didn't know which side to go to. But I think after the Jaffar train, after the Jaffar Express was ambushed, so to say, and the people were taken hostage, I think after that there is a shift in the public opinion. And I think for the first time in the 70 plus years of battle which the Baloch people have waged against the state of Pakistan, I think for the first time the entire public is behind the Baloch army. That is a significant shift.
Right.
And if I'm right in this assessment, you will see series of attacks now continuing. The second part of it is, these statements which have come out from the BLA 1 and from the Pakistan Army 2. The first, as far as the train is concerned, you see the Pakistanis were in total denial.
Right.
But let's face it, in a very narrow area, the insurgents had 100 to 200 odd Pakistani soldiers in captivity. Now, there is no way they would have let them go. It just doesn't make sense that they'll be prepared to die and not take the hostages. They have taken the hostages. I'm inclined to believe the BLA version and not the Pakistani army version. But as far as this particular attack is concerned, I think 90 killed appears to be a bit far-fetched. But the Pakistani statement of saying they've lost 5 or 6 people and about 6 odd are injured, that is obviously way off the mark.
Right.
The bus has been completely destroyed.
Absolutely.
I don't see any survivors in that bus.
Right.
So I have a feeling 40 to 50 people they have taken on in this suicide attack. The rest may have got away. There are no casualties on the part of the BLA, and neither has the Pakistani army claimed it. So I think what the Pakistan army is looking at is a very, very serious internal security situation in Balochistan, which in my opinion as a military professional is getting increasingly beyond the capacity and capability to handle.
Right.
If they don't get in for a quick political resolution, I'm afraid the game is out of their hands, and you are going to see many more such incidences where the Pakistan army is caught flat-footed in the months to come.
And, and Major General Soy, I want you to come in as well. Many, observing the developments taking place in Balochistan go on to say that the Baloch liberation movement will now be defined as pre-Jaffar Express and post-Jaffar Express. Now, post-Jaffar Express, we are also seeing a second major attack within a span of 5 days. So initially, the Pakistani establishment claimed that they eliminated all the terrorists who were behind, the Jaffar Express hijack horror. But if we look at what happened today, it seems like the BLA is only stronger. What exactly do you think is going wrong?
Sagrika, in fact, General Dhruv has given a lot of good points, and I would like to add on a few of those things. In fact, first of all, let's understand, Sagrika, your concern is absolutely right, that why it is happening, why it is so widespread. In fact, if you see, just a little background, if you see that Pakistan has never considered Baloch people as their own. In fact, they have always treated them as a second-grade citizen. Balochistan is the largest state, the mineral-rich, gas, gold, uranium, and other minerals, and they are extracting them. They are even handing the mining rights in Chagai, in other areas, and Gwadar port is there. But what have Baloch people got? they are one of the poorest in Pakistan. There's hardly any education facility. I mean, they've been asking for this, and they, whether it is the jobs in the army, jobs in the government services, they are always considered as second-grade citizens. That's why probably over a period of time the thing has built up, and in fact, Sarika, I would like to add here, is now the leadership has also changed. Earlier, there were tribal leadership. Now, if you see the leader is Dr. Allah Nazar Baloch. He's a doctor, he's a PhD, he's educated people. Whenever you hear their statements, they're all speaking so well. So their diction is so good. They're all educated. So things are totally different. And all these two attacks, and besides this, some of earlier attacks also, are very well planned. This attack is so well planned. Imagine some suicide bomber rams his vehicle into the bus, which is totally destroyed, and the thing is surrounded. Then the Fateh column comes in. They fire on the other buses, which are already in the state of shock, and kill the Pakistan soldiers, and with no casualties on their side. It is one of the cleanest ambush, I would say, that Baloch has carried out with no casualties, and such a huge casualties on the Pakistan army, intelligence failure, their security failure, their drills are missing, and probably Sagarika, and your report you had mentioned earlier, that there's no dialogue.
Right.
They are believing in brute force, use of brute force. They are picking up people from the houses. 5,000 people have vanished. They're using drones, they're using artillery, they're using helicopter gunship. Absolutely, they are believing in suppressing in by force only. I wish there was communication. Right. I wish there was a dialogue. So that political leadership is totally failing in it, and they have failed their people. Their army is failing, and the fear of army. You have rightly brought out. Fear of army is gone.
Yes.
Fear. In fact, the way they are attacking them with impunity. Earlier, the army was considered supreme. They were considered establishment. They were kingmakers.
Yes.
And imagine their plight now. I mean,
you know, for the longest time, Major General Soy, it was the Baloch Liberation Army, activists from Balochistan who have always spoken out against the atrocities of the Pakistan army. But now there seems to be like an unprecedented unity when it comes to that one demand that we've had enough of Pakistan's oppression, and we've had enough of the Pakistani army. There's also a message that has been sent out to China. I want both of you to stay with us. Let's get you more breaking news that's coming in, and this time it is the version that's coming in from the Pakistani army. Now, this is a templated response, like we saw in the Jaffar Express hijack horror. Initially, it was really muted, and now the Pakistan army goes on to say that not as many as 90 military personnel have been killed. The number that the Pak army has put out directly contradicts what the Baloch have claimed. As per the Pakistani army, there have been 11 casualties and 21 injuries. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has also spoken, and it's surprising that now the Prime Minister of Pakistan talks and preaches about Pakistan's resolve against terrorism. Can you believe it? Now, you know, I want to go back to Major General Dhruv Katoch. Major General Katoch, for decades, Pakistan's military intelligence complex thrived on one sinister doctrine, and that doctrine was bleed India with 1,000 cuts. This term was coined by General Zia-ul Haq in the 1980s. And now, when we are in 2025, it seems like if there is anybody who's bleeding the Pakistan army with 1,000 cuts, it's the Baloch. What next? Total disintegration?
Well, frankly, Sagarika, I think we are looking at the end state, which is about to play out within, say, perhaps this year or in the next 2-3 years. Pakistan as a state is crumbling. There were three, when I've actually analyzed Pakistan in great detail, there are three major fault lines. One is the economic fault line, which everybody knows well about. Second is the internal security pressures which they are facing, which, exemplified by this, by the attack on the convoy and earlier by the bus attacks, and also by the series of attacks which have taken place in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But the third most serious challenge, and it is because their inability to address this third challenge that the first two can't be addressed. And that is their political instability caused by the arrest of Imran Khan.
Correct.
Now, Imran Khan, as the Prime Minister, I'm totally aware he didn't do a great job. In fact, I thought he was a very poor Prime Minister. But that doesn't really matter. He has the people's support. And despite having the people's support, he was removed. And again, the elections were rigged. And now we have a state, we have a state of affairs in Pakistan by which the polity is split down the middle. Society is split. Society is split because they are not giving a fair deal to Imran Khan. And I've already stated, I'm not a fan of Imran Khan. I thought he did poorly. But that, as I mentioned, doesn't matter. The people wanted him. Today, if there's a free and fair election, Imran Khan, despite all his frailties, will win. And that is something which the Pakistan military can't accept. So the polity remains split. And because the polity is split, they are not in a position to address either the internal security challenges or their economic woes. And each is feeding on the other. So now we are finding, on the other hand, when you're looking at the Baloch movement, as you very correctly mentioned in your remarks, there is a sense of unity. So all the Baloch groups have got together.
Right.
That is what we are witnessing now. All of them. They were smaller groups, but they have all got together. What you are seeing now is a planned, coordinated operation by all the groups operating as one unit. And they're also cooperating with the TTP. So you are finding right from Balochistan, which is 40% of the country, to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which constitutes another 30%, there is a line, hundreds of kilometers, where the battle is going to rage.
Right.
And the Pakistan army cannot defend it.
Absolutely.
That is the whole point.
Yes.
Which is why I mentioned earlier, it has to be a political solution. Otherwise, Pakistan has lost this battle. You will see the state breaking up if they cannot get the political act together. Sagarika.
Okay. Major General Soy, so the Baloch Liberation Army, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, rogue elements within Pakistan who are now, turning the same dagger that, Pakistan army once wanted to use against India. They have turned it onto the Pakistani state itself. So how are you looking at these developments? And when it comes to how India is monitoring these developments, what do you think can happen next? Because Pakistan, in its same blame game, modus operandi, will go around and blame India, like now they're blaming Afghanistan and Taliban. But when it comes to what's happening internally, how do you think, what should be India's outlook?
In fact, very important, Sagarika. In fact, 2-3 things, but you have rightly brought out, they believe in blaming others for their own failure, their own security failure of their leadership. They blame India. And then they blamed Afghanistan also, and which is actually totally false. It is all their own doing. And yes, we are watching the situation, very, very important, because the way Pakistan is imploding, whether it is a Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area or Balochistan area or Sindh area, because it is imploding, it is likely to be divided. So we are watching the situation very closely. It is very, very important for us because in our neighborhood, we want stability. We don't endorse terrorism anywhere, in any kind of terrorism in any way. So it is very, very important for us that a peaceful, democratic government comes in Pakistan, which will be good for the Awam or people of the Pakistan, and which will be good for Pakistan, which will be good for neighbor. Because unfortunately, you cannot choose your neighbors. We can only hope that they behave and they remain stable. So this is one part, and I hope so. But the fact is, the way General Dhruv has also brought out, all the Baloch groups have got united. And one more thing which has happened after train hijack, the whole world has not taken notice of the crisis in Balochistan, the sufferings of Baloch people. Their women wing is very, very active. Their educated lot is very, very active. They're raising voices across the globe. And I believe the voice of America was also banned in Pakistan. The media has been banned. The media has been totally controlled.
Yes.
And people are getting news through different channels.
Yes.
So it is, and they are, like what you rightly brought out, they are claiming something else.
Yes.
The way this bus has been destroyed, the way the ambush has taken place, and they are saying only 11 killed.
I'll have to interject there because we have some breaking news coming in, and this is with regards to the Pakistani Prime Minister's statement. Now, Shehbaz Sharif has, in fact, condemned what has happened with the Pak military. Like we told you earlier, he now goes on to say that this attack by the BLA is a cowardly strike, and Pakistan and its establishment is now preaching about how their resolve against terrorism won't be deterred. It's ironical that Pakistan is talking about fighting terrorism when Pakistan for years has been exposed for being the safest haven for all kinds of terrorists and terror groups. Let me go across to Pradeep Datta. Pradeep Datta, this morning we were talking about how unknown gunmen have in fact eliminated Hafiz Saeed's aide and a Lashkar commander in Sindh. Now we are getting news of another strike on the Pak army in Balochistan. Look, with just looking at the state of affairs in Pakistan, it seems like it's dead end for Pakistan. It's completely crumbling from within.
Nothing can be more laughable than this statement by Shahbaz Sharif. The same Pakistani, whenever there used to be any kind of an attack on Indian side, they used to say, Mujahideen has carried out attack. You must have seen that after hijacking also, and now this recent attack where IED blast has been carried out, followed by an ambush. And they are saying that they are the terrorists and they are not going to leave these terrorists. So how come when the people, those who are attacking India, they become Mujahideen, and someone when they attack Pakistan, they become terrorists? So this exposes the duplicity and double standard of Pakistan. Rightly said by our panelists, reason is that Awam and Jawam has to be together. When Jawan turns the barrel of their gun towards Awam, such things are going to happen. That's what exactly is happening in Balochistan. That's what is happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Because Jawan has started targeting the Awam, and Awam has lost the faith on Jawan, and the Pakistan army has lost its credibility. So there is no intelligence input. They are losing faith in Pakistan army. So that's one of the reasons the Pakistan army is being targeting right, left, and center from all the sides here in Pakistan. And the second thing you talked about how the unknown gunmen, because see, it's all about karma catching up with Pakistan, because what Pakistan used to be safer haven for all those terror organizations like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, but now the safer space seems to be shrinking for them, because they are being targeted. We saw that just 3 years back when Bashir Ahmed, one of the close aides of Sayyid Salahuddin, was killed closer to the Rawalpindi headquarters. Immediately after that, Sayyid Salahuddin was provided security. And now they are going to provide a similar kind of security to Masood Azhar and other top leaders who had been responsible.
We're watching very closely the developments as they are unfolding, not just in Balochistan, but also in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, also in Sindh, and the way it is the Pakistan army that seems to be at its weakest. There is a message that is also being sent out to China via Baloch fighters. What next in Pakistan? Will things change, or will such strikes continue leading to ultimate disintegration? Thank you, Pradeep Datta, for getting us all those details. I'd also like to thank Major General Dhruv Katoch and Major General Sanjay Soy for joining us on the broadcast. We'll have to take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more news and updates. Stay with Times Now.